I'm going to quickly go through some of the membership settings of ClubEvent. Firstly, to enable the membership system, you have to be the owner of the club. You can see the option here, but if you click on it as administrator and they're not enabled, you'll see you have to go and enable them. So you go into settings, and at the bottom, membership functions, enable membership functions. Now notice under that there's an export members and contacts. You may well need that later if you're doing some sort of import export, just to check what's in there already, but we'll come back to that. So I'm going to enable the membership functions and save that. Now if I go into memberships, I can see membership functions. So all admins can manage these settings. Quickly going through them, we've got payments due. This will give you a list of any payments due on the club. Clearly there are none because nothing's been set up yet. Payments scheduled, so this is when people are on a membership plan, what is their next, or when is their next payment due, and the rest of it's down to various settings you need to set. Coming onto the membership form, obviously that's how people join the club, and the form is either accessible through the ClubEvent client. If they've installed the client, they can press a button on there to join a club, or it's accessible directly via a link like this. So this has the club code FRID and the URL that you'd use to access the form. So you can put a link to that on your website and copy that from here. So let's have a look at the form itself. The form can be as simple or as complex as you like. This dialog lets you create the fields that you need on the form, and there's some defaults put in, hopefully reasonably sensible. All of the fields here, or some of them, have got two icons next to them to edit or delete the field. You'll notice the top three don't. This is because we always collect the full name, the email address, and the membership plan for any user. Can't change those. The rest you can change. Let's have a quick look at adding a form. If you're familiar with events, it's very similar to adding an event ticket detail field. So you create a field name and then a label. So the name can't change, but the label is obviously what the user sees the field as. So as I'm primarily an archer, let's say we want to collect bow style from the user. Now again, you've got many types of fields you can use. So in this case, I might want to use a drop-down field, which you'll see down here. It gives me a comma-separated list of options where I can put in my bow styles. So I won't do them all, but just give you an example. Ooh, can't spell today. So put a couple in there, and all the other normal changes you can make to a field. Now again, you can make the field required, so they have to fill it in, or not required. So we'll say we want it required. You can also hide a field. Now why would you do that? You might want something on the membership form that only admins can edit. So you could create a notes field here that's hidden from the user, but you could go into their contact record and you could use that field for whatever purpose. The field usage down here, it's the same as a ticketing really, is you can apply that field to one or all of the memberships. So if they choose a certain membership plan, the field will appear or not appear depending on which plans the field is aimed at. So I'll save that field, and you'll see that drop down at the bottom here. Now, I might not want that at the bottom of my form, so I can press the button here, which lets me reorder by just dragging and dropping it up the form, and I can save that. Obviously if you want to test the form, then you can simply go to this URL there. As soon as you've saved the membership settings, that will be essentially live for your club. Next off, when someone joins, obviously at some stage they're going to get messages from you. So we have two templates now for memberships. So a welcome message and a renewal message, fairly obvious. A welcome message goes out once they've been approved or paid for membership, and renewal when they've renewed a membership. So let's look at the welcome message. Quite simple. It's a message you can type out. You'll notice there's a few words in brackets here. If you have a click here, you'll see all the different things you can put in that are pulled in from various places. One interesting one to look at is one called Plan Welcome. So you may have some things that need to go out welcoming people to a certain plan, and other things on different plans. So you can do a generic message and then add in for each of the plans a little extra message in there. What I can do on this is, once I'm sort of happy with it, I can send a test email that will send to whatever address I've logged into ClubEvent as, so I can see what it looks like. I can also reset the template back to the default, which is what you're seeing here. So no need to make any changes there. And I can do the same for a renewal template. Moving down to payments, there's two types of payments that you can enable. You can enable card payments, or you can enable offline payments, or you can have both. And if you enable offline payments, clearly you need to tell people how to do that. So the process will be, when a payment email is sent to them saying you need to pay for this, if you have enabled card payments on, then they will get a pay button on that email, which will take them through a payment process using Stripe. And if you have this button on, it'll also, or either or, say whatever you put in here. So if you're saying here, please pay by bank transfer, here are the bank details, that will end up in the email to them. Plans then are fairly powerful. You can have as many plans as your ClubEvent plan allows. And let's look at creating a plan. Fairly simple. You need a name for the plan, so let's call this the adult plan. You can choose a period for the plan, so yearly, quarterly, monthly, or custom. When the plan starts, now this can be a specific month in a yearly case, or it can be the join date, so you can have a rolling plan based on their join date. And how much the plan will be, let's say it's going to be £120, and what do we do when they join? So clearly if they join in June, that's half a year roughly, so this initial price allows you to set what happens there. So you can either say it's prorated, which means their initial price would be approximately half that, so £60, or you can say it's going to be free until period start. Now obviously it doesn't have to be free, but if you select free, that means the system isn't going to control that payment. You do whatever you need to do behind the scenes. So I'll leave it at prorated. And there's some cleverness in that, is that when you come to approve a user, you can actually choose, it'll come up and say they owe £60, and you can say, actually, I only want to charge them a tenner. So you can change that on the as part of the approval process. Next one, remind in advance. So clearly we want to remind people before their renewal dates. So I've got this set to 4 weeks, reasonable for a yearly plan. You can change that to another couple of options. This one's quite an interesting one. Membership starts. So when is a member? Well, that's kind of depends on your club. You can either choose on approval or on payment. And what that means is, when they apply to join, you administrators will get sent a notification that they have to approve the membership. So if you approve their membership, they are now a member, and they will have the welcome message sent to them. If you choose on payment, then when you approve them, they will be sent a message saying please pay now. When they've paid, they will then be sent a welcome message, and you'll see a different status on their contact record saying whether they're pending payment or whether they're a member. So I'll leave that as on approval for now. Linked members. Now you may have a requirement for sort of parent and child membership, and this will let you do that. So on this plan, if I said I want one linked member, This means that when they come to fill out the form, they'll fill out their own details, and then it will ask them to fill out another set of details for the one linked member. So you can have, therefore, a sort of parent and child membership. Obviously, I don't want that on this one. Expired period, just as it says, when they haven't paid, how long after they haven't paid do you keep them as a member? And what this will do is after 3 months, it'll move them from being a member to being a contact in the club. So it won't delete them completely or delete their records, but it will take them out of the membership category and put them in as a contact only. You have the ability to hide the plan. Why would you do that? Well, you might have things like honorary membership, which is not something people would elect to have, but something you would bestow upon them. So this is how you create the plan, hide it, and the administrator can set their membership to that rather than them join. And I mentioned earlier the welcome message in the welcome message section. So this is where you can enter the text that we put in instead of that plan welcome tag. The last section there is just some notes that you can put about the plan, just to remind yourself what it's about. This won't be seen anywhere other than here. So I'll just cancel that because I don't need another plan. And we can see here I can swipe to delete and to edit the plans. So that is it in a nutshell. There's nothing else to set up for memberships. Once that's done, the last thing to do perhaps is to take you through a membership flow. So I'll do that in a separate video.